YouTube has decided to not share my videos with everyone who subscribes. Please follow me on social media to stay up to date. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. And a couple years ago, this dude right here, Amos Yee, kind of burst onto the YouTube commentator, you could call it skeptic scene, so to speak, when he came out with a whole bunch of videos that were like super anti-Islam. And I mean, like, oh damn, the stuff he was saying was pretty edgy back in the day for a 17-year-old, considering the fact that he went to jail in Singapore for what he said. So then he got out of jail and he was seeking asylum here in the United States. And many people like myself supported that notion, supported him coming here because of the persecution of his opinions in Singapore. Then he got here and it just there's no other real way to describe it other than it went to shit. I think is the best way to describe it. Amos Yee started putting out some very questionable content is the best way to describe what he put out there. The stuff he was putting out was like pro pedo type content, but like from the perspective of like age of consent is something that like an 11-year-old can give. And that is just, I disagree. Right? Like, that's like, I'm like, it's a hard thing to sit there and go like, I champion your right to free speech. You were under a persecuted government and you were persecuted by the government. And then you come here and you're just like, hey, let's ramp it up a notch. And it's like, do you know any idea how hard it is to sit there and like vehemently disagree with your entire stance in this particular case, but still go, he's got a right to say it's fine. Oh dear God. It's tough. It's very tough. It's very tough. It's very tough because it's like, it's such a weird thing to be in. It's a very, very precarious position to find oneself in because you want to defend someone's right to free speech because I'm a free speech absolutist. And at the same time, wow, man, like, wow, like, what are you doing? It's just, it was a weird place to be. In no way do I support his views, but this happened today and it's definitely crazy. So YouTube actually terminated his account. Now, it was interesting because he after this whole pedo thing came out, he was booted out of where he was living. I don't know if that was an actor or whatever. He said he was going to get booted out. He was trying to raise some money or find a place to live. And he kind of disappeared for a while. He just kind of disappeared for a little bit. And no one really has talked about him in a while. But now we find out that his YouTube account's been terminated for violating community guidelines. And I'm pretty certain I know exactly why. So it says here on his Facebook, his YouTube channel and all videos have been completely taken down because of his views defending pedophilia. Oh, well, there we go. No speculation needed. Amos coming right on out and saying my views defending pedophilia. Those should ultimately be two words that never ever go together, right? Defending pedophilia, just never ever. But he did. Because he likes to buck the system, man. Oh, Amos, man, it's so hard to do this because like a couple years ago, I really liked you. I supported you, and then now you just, what the fuck, bro? What the fuck? It says here that YouTube has terminated the channel of Singaporean teen blogger Amos Yee, who's making headlines in the West for promoting pedophilia. The removal of his account for violation of the social media platform's community guidelines came about 2 weeks after YouTube drew flack for placing advertisements promoting child development on his channel, Brain and Butter. Okay, so he started a new channel, and he was running ads on it, and people pointed it out, and that is where we are right now. Like it's a very touchy subject to go down because you don't quite. Because it's like you got people that are like, oh, pro-gun channels that are being wiped out. You got pro-nootropic channels that are being wiped out. Pro-conservative channels that are being wiped out. And in those other three cases, those have, there's been some channels that have been reinstated because there were mistakes that were made as a result of this. This is probably not one where there was a mistake made. You can't defend pedophilia, man. You can't. You can't do it. You can't do it. I know what he was attempting to say. Like, I get what he was attempting, but it's still just so wrong on so many levels. Now, on Sunday, May 6th, Amos, whose Facebook account was temporarily suspended for 30 days last November, said that his YouTube channel had been taken down. His YouTube channel had been running for about 3 years, had more than 40,000 subscribers. His Twitter account was also suspended last year, but he has since created a new account using another handle. That's just what happens in most of these cases. Your channel, your account gets taken down, you just start a new one. I'm going to argue that probably a solid 25% of all Twitter profiles are just people opening up alt accounts. He says in a separate post, "Thank gosh I have this Facebook page with roughly the same amount of followers. The only problem is most of my audience here are Singaporeans." You had trouble breaking into the American market. I'm gonna kind of say we can guess why. Now, who's Amos, who's 19, whose online posts mocking and criticizing the Singapore government and other races and religions twice landed him in jail, was granted asylum in the United States last September. While in the United States, he continued to be drawn to controversy. Now, granted, that's probably just his entire shtick. He probably figured, look, it worked in Singapore. I went after Islam here. It's not a big deal. What can I do to cause a stink here in the United States? What can I do here that's going to be very provocative, very over the top? That's either going to make me a lot of money or make me very hated. Oftentimes, the two might go hand in hand. You know, look at how much money Richard Spencer has made off of the whole alt-right thing. I mean, there's money in this kind of stuff if the right benefactors come along. But, oh man, yeah, in the West, when it comes to this sort of thing, buddy, you can't defend, you can't defend it. You can't. On April 20th, American news network CNN published a report on YouTube running advertisements on more than 300 companies and organizations, including Netflix, Facebook, Under Armour, Adidas, Amazon, newspapers, and government agencies on extremist channels. But it's what they deem to be extremist, which is still up for debate. Those of us who work and operate in the sphere, we don't view extremists the same way other people view extremists. There's such a huge disconnect between the two, and to us it feels like more of an attack on the YouTube community than it does actually trying to stop the spread of extremist content. It becomes this weird just clusterfuck of a battle. These channels promoted pedophilia, white nationalists, Nazis, conspiracy theories, and North Korean propaganda. Again, some of them did, absolutely, not all of them did. We've learned that YouTube was striking down a lot of stuff that wasn't violating guidelines because it was caught in a large net that was a reaction to this type of reporting. For example, an advertisement for the American Trade Association for the toy industry ran on a playlist titled "Pedophilia is Life" on Amos's channel. The association pulled the advertisement after CNN report. Yeah, I don't really blame them for. But they also, and just this is a thing, we know that YouTube can, these ad companies can target specific channels that they don't want to be on, and that could also be a thing too. So that was clearly just a reaction to the, that was just a reaction. Probably one of the reasons why April sucked. May's not looking any better. Anyway, when contacted, a YouTube spokesperson said the company does not comment on individual channels, obviously. And they pointed it to a webpage on policy account terminations that state banned users may be prohibited from accessing, possessing, or creating any other YouTube channels. Look, we know that's bullshit. We 100% know that that's crap. Keemstar has been booted out before, and he, created another account, started up Drama Alert again, and as always claimed over the years, he had no access to the account. But we all know that's a lie. So this is, again, that's something that they say just to protect themselves, but I guarantee you Amos has already got another account. Now, an email detailing the reason for termination would be sent to the account holder. Under his policy, accounts can be removed if a user violates his community guidelines repeatedly, was involved in a single case of severe abuse, or was dedicated to hate speech, harassment, impersonation, for example. And there's a lot of that kind of crap that happens there. And it's, again, part of the problem with YouTube as a whole. So, yeah, this Amos Yee thing. It's a bad situation for him. Again, this was a guy that came out a couple years ago, was like, rubbing the Quran on his crotch and his butt, and that a lot of the free speech people in the United States that are very anti-Islam are like cheering him on. Then he was silenced, sent to jail twice. A lot of us who believe in free speech were very much championing this guy, wanting him to come to the States, and then you look at the situation and you just kind of see where he went. And I'm like, and I did a video about him a while ago, and I got called out quite a bit by people saying, like, oh, he was like these pro pedophilia things. And I'm just like, I looked into it. And I'm like, holy crap, man. Like how, like just how did it get to this point? Like, is it an act? Is it kayfabe? Is it like, what is this stuff? Does he really believe these things? And you know what I probably, like, what it boils down to for me at this point is like, I don't like feeling like someone I defended is a huge piece of shit. right? Because like I like to feel like it's like I defended him for a good reason. But it does boil down to that old saying of like, you know, I don't like what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. And that's kind of where there's this conundrum right now, like this internal struggle with me. It's like I don't agree with anything he said involving that topic. I don't agree with anything he said. Period. I don't like any of it. But we're in America, and he's got First Amendment, and he's not actively calling for someone to engage in it. At least I didn't hear any of that. And if he did, no. I mean, I know I just it's so confusing because it's like, you know, I really don't like what I feel is calling out one of our own. And what I mean by that is like in the commentaries, fucking skeptic side of things. Hate that word. It's one of those motions this time. So, you know, I don't know, man, maybe sort your shit out, Amos, get counsel. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. So I leave it to you guys. Is this a good move to boot him off of YouTube? Is this a violation of his free speech? Yesterday there was the Day for Freedom rally the Day of Freedom rally in the UK, or I forget exactly where it was, but it was happening, you know, and like Tommy Robinson, Sargon of Akkad, Count Dankula, Lauren Southern. I think Lauren Southern was there, and a lot of people there talking about free speech, and free speech needs to be protected, and it's under attack in Europe, and then we come here and we've got this you know person who's being booted off of YouTube, and other places for defending pedophilia to an extent. And so the question then goes, like, is there a line? Is there a limit? Is there a place you will not go to defend someone's opinion or their right to speak on their opinion? Is there a line? If they're not calling for violence or the harm of somebody else or the destruction of private property and therefore not violating any of the tenets of the First Amendment, is there a line in what you will or will not give them the space to speak or defend their right to have that opinion, even if you completely, vehemently, 100%, just to the core of your being, disagree with it? That is my question to you, because I think the answer is going to be a little bit harder to kind of come to, because it is very much a weighing one side or the other. The scales are going to be constantly going up and down, and it's not an easy answer. And ultimately, given this particular topic, you feel like it should be an easy answer, but it's not. So here we are. Amos, fucking Jesus Christ, dude, fix your shit, man. Just get fucking help. That's my opinion on that one, but I'll leave it to you. Comment below. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, thumbs it up. If you want to share it around, I'd really appreciate that. If you just want to watch more content from me that maybe is a little bit more fun and crazy, then you can do so right now.